Hello, I'm Zed Survivor. Today we're doing cooking. Cooking can reduce the ingredient consumption of your food and provide better unhappiness reduction. There are many recipes and we can go through them first. There are a few recipes that require a magazine. There are 2 magazines total. No recipes require cooking skill. You do not need any XP levels to unlock them. First, let's go with the simple ones. You can make a sandwich by taking bread slices and adding ingredients to it. You can put cooked meat in a sandwich if you wanted, but if you have raw uncooked meat, you have to make a burger instead. When you make a burger, you can cook it, after you're done putting the ingredients, of course. You cannot cook a sandwich. Coffee and tea are also pretty easy to make. They don't provide much, but you can still make one of these from time to time. There are 2 ways to make coffee or tea. Using a kettle, you can make cold kupa or hot kupa by boiling the water first. You can also combine mug with water and tea, coffee, honey, etc. and make a beverage. Then you can either cook it or drink it uncooked. Cooking meat is simple. Just put it in the oven and wait for it to cook. After it's done, turn off the oven and take your meat, or else it will burn because it's still hot in the oven. To make a salad, you need a bowl. You can make a fruit salad or a regular salad. Add the ingredients and combine them together to make a nice quality meal. Next, soup and stew. What's the difference, you might ask? Well, the ingredients, but it's not too big of a difference. To make a soup or stew, you need a cooking pot, fill it with water and add your ingredients. After you're done, add some salt and pepper, if you have any. You can also add meat or even bread. Alright, now we have rice and pasta. They're almost the same, so we're gonna make some rice. First, you put rice in a saucepan or a cooking pot with water. Then add your ingredients. If you don't know where you can see them, open your crafting panel and go to cooking. Everything you can add is listed here. Add some salt and pepper and cook it. Another thing you can do with soups, stews, rice and pasta is splitting it into bowls. So grab 2 or 4 bowls, so I can right click on my finished rice for example, and select make 2 bowls of rice. Now we're gonna make some roast. You will need a roasting pan, and you can add random stuff in here too, like steak, tomato, and egg for example. You can see here I'm using the oven settings. Now the only use of this is to set the temperature to cook things faster or slower. If you add it too low, it won't cook, and putting it on max will cook it faster. Just make sure you don't burn your food, because that can also cause a fire. Another thing, stir fry. Similar to roast, add some things to your frying pan and cook it. You can add meat, vegetables, eggs, mushrooms and stuff like that. Next I'm gonna teach you how to jar your vegetables for winter. You will need a jar lid, your vegetables, sugar, vinegar and water. Right click and jar your food, but it has to be cooked as well. Put it in the oven and turn it on. After you cooked it, this will last for 2 months. Okay, now for these next recipes, you will need to read the cooking magazines or take the cooking occupations to unlock them. First, how can we make bread? You will need flour, rolling pin, salt, water and yeast. Make the bread dough and then cook it. After it's done, you can eat it or cut it into bread slices to make those sandwiches and burgers. Another advanced recipe is making a pie. First you will need the pie dough. For this you require flour, butter, salt and water. Make the pie dough, then you will need a rolling pin and a baking pan to make the pie preparation. And start adding ingredients. After you've done all that, put it in the oven and bake it. There are many interesting ingredients you can add to it. When you are done, you can slice the pie with a knife. Last and most complicated recipe is making a cake. You will need butter, flour, empty bowl, 3 sugars, yeast, milk, and an egg. Make the cake preparation and then put it into a baking pan. Then you must add your ingredients to the cake. You can add fruit, chocolate, honey and stuff like that. Then you should cook it and you may slice it as well. All the recipes are done. Now I will tell you a common mistake beginner chefs do, and that is adding too much of the same ingredient, which will make the recipe dull and boring. Don't do this, or your recipe will turn bad and give you unhappiness. Alright, now we will talk about the skill itself. What benefits does this bring? You will be able to use less ingredients to make the same amount of food, your food will have more nutrients, and at level 7, you will be able to use small amounts of rotten food and add it as fresh food. But it's really small amounts of it though. Leveling is simple. Read a book, and anything you craft that's in the cooking crafting panel and cooking things in an oven will gain you XP. Now it's time for the tip of the video. There are 2 barbecues in the game. Use this as a source of heat when the electricity shuts off. First one is the red one, and it requires regular fuel like logs and also charcoal. The other one is the bigger one, and it requires propane tanks. You can right click and turn it on if it has enough fuel, and you can also look at the information how long it's going to last. Alright, that's about it then. Thank you for sticking until the end. Hopefully this didn't take too much of your time. Hope you learned something new, and I will see you in my next video.